This is the number one issue that all these things bring up with a radical firm, and it's the transparency. And I think us as CPAs have a problem with transparency, or as accountants, because I think it's hard to be transparent. The data changes in real time, and it makes us set clearer communication and clearer expectations. This is the hard part. It's not about doing accounting in the cloud. It's about how are you setting clearer communications and clearer expectations with your team as well as with your customer, because it's very easy to set the expectation incorrectly and then get caught in it. How are you going to deliver this communication changes? And that's what creates disruption is, are you using social media now to communicate? You should be, because that's where your customers are. How are you going to monitor your team members doing it? And how are you going to capture all that communication so that it's documented, so that you know what happened, you know what transpired? The biggest problem in our office is someone said something to someone else and nobody knows what happened, right? We already have that problem today. Well, now exponentially multiply it because we're using social media and there's more communication happening in real time that not everyone's aware of. And so those are the things that create the disruption, right? It's not Twitter itself. It's not the tool of Twitter. It's what using Twitter or using Facebook or using LinkedIn creates, right? What is the communication? Is it email? Is it phone? Is it video conference? Is it in-person text or Facebook? I don't know what it is for your firm, but these are the things we have to be thinking about. How do you feel about yourself and staff having transparent communications with firm clients, which traditionally have not had, right? Where everything went through a reviewer or a partner before it went to the client. Well, if you're working in real time, that changes. And you don't have the option of reviewing it because it's real time. So now how are you going to change your training within your firm so that you feel comfortable with things happening in real time? If you're a firm of one, it's not such a big deal because you're making the changes and you're doing it. But if you start adding levels or different, have multiple people in your firm, all of a sudden you no longer have that easy option for review before it goes out to client. So now how are you going to train better on the front end, which we as CPAs traditionally do a horrible job at, right? We always train after the fact. You get review points, and those review points are how you learn. Well, review points aren't going to cut it anymore in a real-time world, and that's what's creating the problem. It's not the cloud software. It's how the cloud software interacts with your old-style practice management, and that's what it means to become a radical CPA. Is how you're going to change your firm so that it all plays nicely together. Because if you try and manage your firm old school ways with new technology, it's going to blow up in your face. And I don't mean to sound like kind of grumpy about it. I just know from experience that that's what happened to me. So I really want people to go in with their eyes wide open and think about training and things like that ahead of the time so that they're not waiting and then having it blow up in their face. Learn from my mistakes.